Slater Crusaders, America's greatest country, the world, San Diego's America's finest city. Thanks for being here. I want to tell you about really as legit of an operation as maybe you'll ever find. Made up of former special operators, Navy SEALs, police officers, and others. They never charge for their services. They work with local governments. It's called Saved in America. And they save lives. There are about 5,000 trafficked children in San Diego County each year. And Joseph, tell me if this fact is right. A pimp makes about $100,000 per child?
Yes.
Is that right?
That's absolutely correct.
Wow. This is Joseph Travers. So he's the co-founder of Saved in America, saving these girls who have been kidnapped. Is that the right word?
Well, they're kidnapped, but technically the way they get the girl is they coerce them through social networking. And then they use drugs also. And then they lure them from their home. So the child appears to be a runaway at first, but in fact they're not, because the answer lies in social media.
What are the promises that these males, I'm not going to call them men, they're not real men. What are the promises that they lure them with?
Yeah, well, we can call the males and the females too, by the way. They're gang members. It's organized crime.
Okay.
And the gang members are part of what I call an evil triad: prison gang members and cartel. And they're the same characters who do the illegal narcotic trafficking in our country.
Okay. And I want to reiterate over and over again, San Diego.
San Diego.
All around the world, all around the country too, but San Diego. We're talking about San Diego.
San Diego is the second largest corridor for child sex trafficking because it's the second corridor for illegal narcotics trafficking.
Okay, so they're connected. Okay, so what are the lures? How do they lure the girls?
They start off with flattery. First, they'll look for a child that has some kind of trauma in their life, whether it's an argument with a best friend, breaking up with a boyfriend, a death in the family, divorce.
Really? And they find that through things the girls post online?
Well, not only that, but there was a recent study, University of San Diego, that there is a gang recruiter in every public middle school and high school in San Diego County.
Hold on. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and that should just shock everyone.
There's a gang recruiter.
At least one.
Who's an adult or
no,
in high
a child that goes to school. For the gang, because gang members get to go to school also.
Yeah, so they have a younger gang member who's in high school.
Correct.
Who is on the lookout for vulnerable girls.
Yes, absolutely.
And can report back, hey, this girl over here, her parents got a divorce or whatever.
Correct.
Yeah. Wow.
And then they lure them through social networking, either through Snapchat, Instagram, or these many applications. So the parents have no idea this relationship is developing.
Yeah. Because you can keep your daughter away from a shady part of town, maybe. But if they're online.
And try to keep a kid's cell phone from the kid. That doesn't work these days. It's a whole different story than even 20 years ago. Okay,
I got a ton more questions, but I want to jump ahead because I want to talk about exactly what you guys do. So how many people are on your team, Saved in America, and who are these men?
Okay, we have 42 staff members, and that includes, we have 3 divisions. We have a special operations division that consists of mostly Navy SEALs. We have a couple Marine Raiders and one British SAS operator. Yeah, so we bring tea to the party. And then we have another division of cops like myself, who are former police officers. And then we have one more division called Tech Ops. And our Tech Ops is our social networking investigators and drone operators and the technological things that we deal with.
So that's why I started off saying that you guys, Saved in America, is as legit of an operation as you'll ever find. This is not a bunch of ragtag rent-a-cop guys who want to make something of themselves. These are the top of the top elite.
Oh yeah, we only take 2. Even if we have a special operator, a retired police officer apply, you have to be handpicked and you have to go through a process, a background investigation process, and everything else. So we really want people who are there for one reason, from the heart, because they volunteer. It's not about money; it's a heart issue with them.
So why would, maybe you can speak specifically of a Navy SEAL or generally, why would just say Navy SEAL, former Navy SEAL, want to do this?
I'll talk about the ones that I know that are part of our group, which consists of about 12. And that is, a lot of them have children or grandchildren, and they see this problem and they just decide, hey, you know what? This could be my child. This could be my grandchild.
And they have these skill sets to help.
And they absolutely have the skill sets.
Wow, pretty amazing. Let me jump to the fundraiser you guys have coming up, and I got a million more questions. So November 7th, Estancia La Jolla Hotel, the big fundraiser event, dinner, an amazing speaker who was trafficked herself.
Yes.
Right? So
Yes.
she has a story to share, and it's going to be a wonderful night. Mark Larson is emceeing it. So what's the website? Joseph, do you have it on hand?
That's savedinamerica.org,
Okay.
savedinamerica.org.
Okay, I'm sure there's information there. You can get on, sign up for it also. November 7th, Estancia Hotel, La Jolla. Okay, can you walk us through maybe the process that you guys take from beginning to rescue? Because you've rescued over 200 girls?
Correct. It's a 223, I believe, currently.
Right. Okay, so walk us through it.
Okay, so we have what we call a 6-step process, and that's articulated, and we actually have a textbook out. It's in its 2nd edition, getting ready to have the 3rd edition, where we go through how we do what we do, but not to such an extent where a gangster can pick up the book and figure out what we do.
Yeah.
But our first step is obviously parental contact, and that is where the parent finds out about us in some way, shape, or form, contacts us, they go online, they fill out application process and a power of attorney so we can coordinate with public agencies because children's communication is confidential. So once we do that,
Now, if I may, sorry, real quick, probably a lot of parents come to you super desperate because they've already went to the police and the police say, nothing we can do.
Absolutely. Let me give you a true life case. And this is a child of a 14-year-old from Sparks, Nevada. Mother called us because she went to take the young girl to school and the window's open and she's gone. Police come, the patrolmen, and okay, let's take a report and report her to the National Crime Information Center, as a runaway. And they asked Mom, do you know why she left? And Mom actually doesn't know because the answers are in the social networking.
Yeah.
So it appears to be a runaway, and we ended up finding her. We traced her down to Baja California, and she was being trafficked by gangsters in a cartel in Baja California.
It's a horrific, I don't mean to make light, it's a Liam Neeson Taken movie that you guys are real life. It's real life happening.
This is
right
real
here.
life happening. The big difference is the way in Taken, that doesn't happen here because, as we know, law enforcement's too good. If you go and grab a kid and throw him in a car, I mean, you're going to have, 100 officers and helicopters and you name it are there. So what they do is they do this subtle subterfuge through social networking.
Yes. And what's the difference? So you're saying if they just grab someone off the street, that would be enough probable cause or whatever to bust down doors? And
oh yeah, you'd have the alerts all over the freeways and the communication systems, and the police, like I said, in this country are very good at what they do.
Yes.
And they get a call of a child just got kidnapped and pulled off the street. All resources are going to go right there.
Okay, but if it's a runaway, if it looks like a runaway,
not so much. A runaway is sort of like low profile. We don't have anything to go on, and we're a reporter in the National Crime Information Center, and then the report takes 5 to 10 days for even the patrolman to write, so a detective doesn't even get it for that much time. Now, one of the recent studies says that 60% of all runaway girls will be approached by a child sex trafficker within 48 hours. So you see the disconnect. If it takes 5 to 10 days for this runaway report to get to a detective, and 60% of the girls will be approached by a trafficker in 48 hours, there's a big danger.
Yeah. So just math again. This happens 13 times a day in San Diego County.
Correct.
5,000 girls a year, 365 days. That's 13 around a day. I think that's pretty frequent.
Well, let me give you a stat that might blow your mind even more. According to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, NCMEC, there's currently at any one time 300,000 missing kids out there. If you take a study done by Dr. Amy Carpenter from the University of San Diego for the Department of Justice, which says that 35 to 40% of missing girls are being trafficked, do the math. We're talking at least 100,000 young girls, as we speak, are being trafficked in this country.
And again, a lot of that here in San Diego, which is why Summer Stephan, our DA, has put a lot more energy and focus and resources into this mission, which is good. But we need people like Saved in America to fill the cracks. So Saved in America, one more time, the website? Not one more time, but what is the website again?
Savedinamerica.org.
Okay. Fundraiser coming up November 7th. Nice dinner, Estancia Hotel in La Jolla. I want to come back and we'll finish up the rest of the process. So parent reaches out. because they're frustrated because the police, they can't do anything. So what happens then before the ultimate amazing rescue? We'll do that next. 1-800-760-KFMB. SavedInAmerica.org. Dan Beer of the Beer Home Team. If you're thinking about selling your house, you got to call Dan. No question about it. No one's better. It's the 5-day blitz. That's what separates him from everyone else. And this is how you can guarantee that he'll sell your house. It's in writing. Within 29 days, sell your house at 100% of your asking price, or he'll pay you the difference. So you are protected the entire time. So give him a call, find out how that's possible. This is the team that realtors hire to sell their homes. Agents trust Dan's process because no one else can do this process. 1-800-667-2003. Any questions you have about selling your house? 1-800-667-2003 or soldbydanbeer.com. Slater Crusaders, we're talking to Joseph Travers. He's the founder of Saved in America right here in San Diego. About 5,000 girls every year are trafficked in San Diego County. 5,000, about 13 a day. It's pretty unbelievable. And pimps make about $100,000 per child. Dan, Joseph and I were just talking about, do these traffickers make more money off drugs or girls? And what's the answer?
Girls, because they can sell the girl over and over and over again.
Yeah, wow. So SavedInAmerica.org, and they have a fundraiser November 7th at La Estancia in La Jolla, and they have a great speaker who's going to be there, and Mark Larson's emceeing. Okay, so take us through the process. So there's 6 steps. We just talked about one. That's when the mom and dad are freaking out, and the police aren't really helping, so they call you, desperate.
Correct.
Then
and then we give that case to our social networking investigator, who immediately goes into the social networking because that's where the answer is.
That must be a dark job.
That is really good. But we have one of the best in the business. He's a typical, tech geek guy, but he's not typical because he's also a former undefeated MMA champ.
Wow.
So the team guys get along with him real well.
So he goes and he tries to find the girl who's being sold online?
He puts a matrix together of all the social networking sites and reverses the process to find the bad guy who approached the girl in the first place through the social networking.
Okay, then what?
Then we take that information, we give it to workable intel guys. So they go out and we find clues and they go either confirm the clue or not. And then we take all that and it goes to the next step, which is our case manager, happens to be my son Joshua, who's a Charlottesville police officer, former combat Marine. And he puts that together and preserves it in a file for law enforcement and future civil action against the bad guy. All that information is then shared with law enforcement when we go into what we call our next step, our 5th step, actionable intelligence. That's when we're pretty sure we know where the girl is. We set up a hard surveillance stakeout, coordinate with law enforcement. Once we get eyes on the girl, we get our law enforcement partners there. They extract the girl, any bad guys there. And then it goes to the next step, which is civil criminal prosecution and rehabilitation. So we make sure that the girl gets the proper rehabilitation she needs, raise the money for the family, whatever it takes, because we don't take money from the families, and we're all volunteers. We don't take money ourselves.
Good for you guys for following through on the girl's recovery, too, which could be a lifetime
yes,
thing,
and we have an attorney on staff that'll sue the bad guy civilly, and any money we get goes straight to the girl's rehabilitation.
Oh, that's great. Good for you guys. Wow. Okay, ton of questions. How, I don't want to put you in a bad spot. The relationship between you and the local police departments. Are they grateful when you guys hand them that file and you're doing your thing, or are they offended? Or
it depends on the jurisdiction. Mostly very good. I mean, we have a tremendous relationship, for example, with Sheriff Joe Lombardo in Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. We've done 2 mutual operations with their department in Las Vegas. And we used our mobile command center. Thank you, Supervisor Kristen Gaspar and the San Diego County Board of Supervisors for giving us the grant for that so we can do multiple operations at one time. And we also have a great relationship in Santa Barbara County with Sheriff Bill Brown, which we've done multiple operations with.
Other than ego, how could they not? Because you guys aren't, again, you're not a bunch of rent-a-cops. You guys are former special ops and police officers yourselves.
Absolutely.
So you're doing it by the book.
And not only do we do it by the book and through the legal guidelines, because we're all become licensed, insured private investigators with that confidentiality with clients, but we've never had to touch anyone. Out of all the cases we've done, we give it to law enforcement so they do the physical touching.
Wow. Okay, that's very good. So how often are you able to actually see the girl in public?
Well, out of 232 recoveries, 232 cases.
No way. So how do you get, I would almost think they would be extra careful to make sure the girl doesn't ever leave a house or something? But I guess you got to go from house to house.
Well,
huh?
you got to show yourself sometime, and that's what we do.
That's what you guys are out there waiting for that mistake.
We use some highly sophisticated electronic gear, and then with the knowledge of surveillance, because that's why we use all gang and narcotics detectives coupled with special operators, the silent warriors, right? And that's how we do our actionable intel or our long-term surveillance stakeout till we get eyes on.
Unbelievable. I mean, I watched a HBO documentary done about you guys, and the mom was frustrated and talking about how long it took police to do anything. It was like 2 months or something. And the reporter said, well, how long did it take Saved in America before they found your daughter? 2 days.
2 days. That was because the answer again was in social networking. So we immediately had our social networking investigator go in there, unravel it, and says, I know where she's at. And then we deployed and did our surveillance coordinated with San Diego PD. And you saw on the film on HBO Vice where we extracted the girl who was under the influence of heroin, by the way.
Wow. So they shot her up.
They shot her up, and that's how they keep them. See, because when the young girl, when they get an opiate in their system, and we know about the opiate problem in this country, the child only wants the opiate, and she'll do anything for the opiate.
Wow. All right, I was going to ask you, and take this however you want. And what is? You can even pass. What are some really dark things you've seen? And I don't, answer that as appropriately as you want, but just to wake us up a bit of this is real life and it's really happening and it's right here and we can help.
Well, correct. Just the case you were talking about, we're still working, with the young girl for civil prosecution and still criminal prosecution. But what they did to this girl was tremendously, tremendously horrible. But let me tell you about, just because we're going to have our 3rd annual Child Saved Not Sold fundraiser.
Yes.
The motivation for me to get into this was reading about a young girl named Brittany Drexel. Brittany Drexel was missing from upstate New York, and I read about that. And eventually what ended up happening about a year ago, the FBI determined that Brittany was taken by a gangster, and they beat her, they gang raped her, they were selling her, she escaped, they shot her to death and fed her to alligators. Well, we did on our last year, on our 2nd annual Child Saved Not Sold, we got a hold of Brittany's mom, and we had her as one of our guests, and she presented the 1st annual Saved in America Child Saved Not Sold Scholarship Fund to another survivor of child sex trafficking.
There you go. That's the story, right? That's what you guys are doing. That's good. SavedInAmerica.org. And there's information there about the fundraiser they have coming up, November 7th, Estancia Hotel in La Jolla. And again, you guys don't make any money. You don't accept any money. You don't take any money. All this goes to what?
Well, we get paid, by the way. And our payment is when we look in the eyes of the mother when we got her child. That is priceless. There's no amount of money in the world that could give you that feeling.
Good for you guys. SavedInAmerica.org. Joseph Travers is the founder. Give our best to all the men working with you.
I will. And by the way, one of our guys, Tosh Carrington, Navy SEAL chief, he just loves your show. He said, I better say something.
Mr. Carrington. Thank you for your service, Mr. Carrington. I appreciate that. Joseph, thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Really good. SavedInAmerica.org. Hope to see you at the fundraiser. 1-800-760 KFMB. Jim Sharbat, what do we got coming up at the headline, sir?
East County residents are bracing for fire weather situations over the next couple of days. We'll take a look next.
Isn't it crazy that men like these guys listen to the show? That sounds crazy. You should think twice about having him on your team. I don't know if that's...